Good. We're going. We're going. Okay. So we should on page 100 in our reading books. You're not quickly get there. We are going to this rest of the week. You guys are going to be going over Farmer Will Allen and the growing table. Does anybody know what a biography is? If you do, raise your hand. I saw someone for what's a biography? Well, that's a biologist. Close. Beginning. Miles?
Biography is probably like a novel or something.
We're getting closer. One more guess. Hayden?
If it's real, if the story is real or not.
Real about what?
Or real about what they're saying about it.
Real about the person that's in it?
About what they do.
What they do. Okay. Yeah, a biography is a story about a real person's life, but it's written by somebody else. So that'd be like me writing a story about Archer's life so far. I would go into details about Archer's life, events, in order of events. So Archer was born on this day, and then maybe he moved at this age, and now at this age he goes to this school, and so on. Okay? That's what a biography would be. You're just telling the real story and events in order of a person's life. It's going to include illustrations that show the importance. So when I would do my story of Archer moved to Council Grove on this date, maybe I would show a picture of Archer driving in a car coming into Council Grove. Okay? If you guys go ahead and look on page 100 in your books, down there in the critical vocabulary, we have our vocabulary words for this week from the story. And the first one you'll see is scarce. Can you guys repeat the word scarce?
Scarce.
Scarce. Word scarce means that there's not very much. There's very little of something, okay? Like in this picture here. You have a river, but you see all the sand. Or like if you go into Manhattan, you ever look across the bridge and you see all the sandbars? That's because the water is very scarce at that time.
Wait, so if you, like, in Manhattan, since there's sand, if you go on the sand, is there, if you, like, step on it, is there still, like, you'll, like, step in a little bit of water?
You could. Yeah, that's why you should probably make sure you know what you're stepping in. So, what's your question?
Is quicksand in Kansas?
No, not that I'm aware of. So we have the word scarce. That means there is very little of something. So the water is scarce in the riverbed. Who can give me the word scarce in another sentence? Raise your hand if you can give me the word scarce in a sentence of your own. Archer?
The vegetables were scarce in the garden.
Very nice. Good. And you related that to the story, so that's good, just from the picture you see. Okay. Our next word that you will see is on the list is greenhouse. Who knows what a greenhouse is?
Me.
Creighton? What is a greenhouse? What is it? What is it? Is it a house you can live in? You can live in a greenhouse?
No.
No, not quite. What lives in a greenhouse? David?
Plants.
Plants. Yeah, all kinds of plants can live in a greenhouse, right? Okay. So here's a greenhouse. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds. 10 seconds to think of an action you could do. If I were to say greenhouse, you do an action. Okay, so think about it. Okay, you got it?
Mm-hmm.
On the count of 3, show me your action you would do if I said, what's a greenhouse? Ready? 1, 2, 3. What's your action? Blaze made roofs, Soar made roofs, Soar. Yeah, you guys are we growing plant? Yeah, putting plant seeds out. You're being a weed. You're a weed. Are you gonna grow a weed in your greenhouse? No? Okay.
It's a flower.
Flower. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at the actual definition of the greenhouse. So yes, a greenhouse is a building that is used to grow plants and and flowers. And provide, Aiden, let's wait. Greenhouses provide plants with a warm and safe climate that they need to survive outside of their natural environment. So natural environment, that would be, like most flowers now. They don't survive during the winter, but if you were to put them into a greenhouse, then you would have your flowers year round. Or sometimes there's house plants you put outside during the day, and they have to be tropical, like Florida. I couldn't bring a plant here, probably in Florida, and let it live out in my yard during the wintertime. It would die, okay? So our next one is pollution. Look, I'm shrinking it. Oh.
Stop.
No, okay. You want to help me out?
It doesn't want to.
There you go.
It didn't want you to zoom in.
It didn't.
It's zooming.
There we go. Okay. It'll get there. So pollution. What do you know about pollution? Something who's maybe not answered yet. Mia? Yeah, so what would be, James, what would be an example of pollution? Can pollution be put in the water? Yeah. Like what do you think you'd find in the water that pollute the water?
Seagrass?
Some types of seagrass actually could, too much seagrass, too much would pollute the water. Too much moss would pollute water. Eva, what'd be a, yeah, trash. That's the biggest thing you see out in the water. Ethan, one more.
Throwing trash on the ground and leaving it there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say dead fish.
And
falling
we
on
see
the ground.
some of these every now and then. But yes, they moved on. They went backwards.
That's I got pollution.
I guess because it's
Not
zoomed out.
zooming out again.
So pollution, yes, pollution is a harmful or poisonous material in the air, water, and ground. So it can be anywhere, right?
Even in metal.
Do you?
Yay. Crowded.
If you know that word, say it out loud.
Crowded.
Crowded. And what do you believe, Miles, crowded means?
It means you're a giant group.
We're a giant. Now, does it mean we're just like this? Could be considered a not giant, bigger group, but are we crowded?
No.
Crowded is like you have
Yeah, we're right next to each other.
tiny space right next to each other.
A good example,
Like this.
if you ride the bus to school,
Yeah, it's
or
kind
when we go on field trips, they they put us all in as buses as many as we can.
even the
right?
seats are crowded.
Okay, so
So crowded,
imagine
Ethan, crowded is a space you fill with something. So a crowded area is filled with people close together. If I gave you 10 more seconds, you as a group, as a class, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to do it. Show me in this area what crowded is. Ready? Go.
I can't believe this. I need to post it on space.
All right. Okay. Go back to your seats.
Aw, I got one.
Doing good, guys.
Yay.
Here's a word that you guys may not know
This is my
that we're going to get
stuff.
into today.
I want to tell you something about
A little bit. Bats. Any idea, just by looking at this picture,
Hey?
what this is? Soren? Oh, sorry. A liquid? Could be.
paint.
Paint. Blaze, what do you think of that is by looking at that picture? Yeah?
Something that mixes.
Something that mixes? Yep, let's take a look. Egg bats is a large tank or tub that can hold water or other liquids.
So French people say
So one of
rats.
the vats was full of milk. By looking at the cover, Ethan, can you sit in your chair, please? Thank you. By looking at page 101, what do you think? Give me a sentence of what might be how vat is going to be used in our story. Hayden?
It's gonna be covered in vegetables and flowers and like other like types of plants. And like there might be a little house and they grow all these.
Okay, let's use the word vats in a sentence, do you think? A vat is a large tank or tub that can hold water or other liquids. Use it in a sentence. What do you think we use in our story? Okay. Good. And here's one we should know. We hear this word in other training.
Vertical.
Vertical. Show me. I got it. Sit down. Sit down. Show me an action for vertical. We use it in HD. Well, what did you? Vertical. Yep, you got it. So, give me, Blaze, a sentence for vertical. Just use vertical in a sentence. Vertical is to be upright or, like we just did, point up. David, up on your chair, please. There's no right or wrong. Give it a try. You want to pick someone else? Okay. James, you want to try giving me a sentence for vertical?
The birds go up when they're flying.
So the birds will fly vertical? Yeah, up vertical. Yep, I got it. Okay. Another one would be the arrow was vertical, means pointing upward rather than sideways.
If you were very sideways. Because I see them all the time. When it says like up, maybe like those.
And our last word, vocabulary before we do our activity, is factories. Where do we know factories from? Archer?
We know factories from our passage cars.
Right, yep. Where else do we find factories? I like how you went back to that, Archer. That was good. Ethan, where else do we know from factories?
Car factories.
Car factories, and didn't we, a couple weeks ago maybe, we watched a video about how they make
Yeah,
cars
we
in
did.
factories?
Yeah, that we found a motorcycle factory.
Oh, good. Yep, so factories are large buildings where things are built or made by people and machines.
Mine was Pennsylvania Hershey Chocolate Factory.
Oh, nice. Love it. So cars, like you mentioned, are built in factories. In that video, was there more people working or more machines?
More machines.
More machines, yep.
Soon they're gonna take over our world.
Could you give me an action of working in a factory? Ready? Go. Yep, good.
Hammer.
Alright, so that's what you guys do. Go, Hayden.
Like
These are going to be fill in the blank. Ethan, do you want to take one? Pass them to the rest of your class. And Archer, pass one to Archer. And James.
Jumping section.
And Thorin goes that way. You can give one to Blake for me though, please. There should be one for James. Switch the dot.
I know.
You're like, "Dang it."
Just a little hot.
Yeah, we, yeah. Hey guys, it is lunchtime, so we are gonna finish this up after lunch real quick, okay? So we'll finish that up
I
after
was
lunch.
just spinning around just like